Tinubu supporter don't receive the disgrace of in life on top of national TV. He come out, come dey belittle the effort of Omoyele Sowore. The things where Omoyele Sowore don't do in the past, even till now, when he still dey do. This President Tinubu supporter, he received the highest disgrace of in life.
Today we explore a debate sparked by activist Omoyele Sowore. He called President Bola Tinubu a criminal after his Brazil visit, where the president claimed Nigeria now has no corruption.
For me not to toe his line, I want to say to Mr. Sowore that was a very responsible statement to have made. You know, you could have made your point very easily and very much more elegantly without using such words on an individual that represents over 200 million people.
Well, the journalist has a duty, has a responsibility to hold political leaders accountable. You cannot separate a democracy from the practice of the media. The media has to be free if the democracy has to be free. You want to determine the level or degree of, of a democracy. You first of all determine the level or degree of the freeness of the media. You know, of course, he has to be decorous in his language, but he does not need to pepper or pamper, or paper over or gloss over situations that occur. Because for you to be authentic, then you must be able to express yourself authentically and not color sugarcoat, issues. When people look at this Sowore statement, the question you ask yourself is: was he making this statement, for instance, as a radical activist that he is known for, or is he making it as a politician? And you must be able to separate these two. For instance, they are in the political arena, and the politicians are used to all manners of inflammatory words. And we are saying that these things are wrong. We have always maintained it, that they must look for a way to bring down the tempo of the rhetorics when they are talking. From what you said earlier when you were talking, that Sowore had said that it falls under free speech. So if it falls under free speech, for instance, then it can be tested. It can be tested in the law court. I also don't want to believe that the president does not have a means to seek redress in the law court. They can take him to the law court and then also because there's a law on defamation, obviously. So if it is defamatory, then the question you ask yourself is, why is the government waiting? Can the president seek redress, in the law court? And I think that these are the things that also, one has to consider. So if he has a freedom of expression and the government believes that he does not, the law books are there, then he can be taken up, at the legal level and prosecuted and see whether they have a case, a justifiable case against him.
I think I have major problems with Sowore. You get in the basket that he's playing, either as a human rights activist or a politician or in advocacy. So what I see here now is a push for relevance in these areas. Do you get me now? In the human rights part of it, do you get me now? I see a seeming loss of relevance, do you get? And I see some of these things that he does, as a push to continue to put himself in the limelight. The political side of the whole thing is already working. We all know what happened in the presidential elections with his push. So there's this need to be daring. There's this need to tweak, to taunt. Do you get? And see how the system will react to him to keep him in the pages of in the pages of the put him in the headlines. Are you getting me now? Someone will sit there in his house, do you get me now, and tweet, and you reach millions of people. Do you get me now? I mean, he's here, he has to be arrested every week for us to hear what he's saying.
So you think this is intentional attention?
Yes, it's attention seeking.
But he's also very popular, whether you like it or not.
No. He's very popular, but what has his popularity achieved for him since his days in Iraq to date?
We now have Ibe here in the house. You missed a bit of the interview, but let's continue from where we left off.
But let me even start by quickly addressing this issue of Sowore, in quotes, referring to President Tinubu as a criminal. But a lot of emotions, varied reactions, Some people saying, oh, that is too blistering. Some saying, oh, that is defamatory. Others are saying, oh, you cannot speak to the president in that manner. The question is, who is aggrieved by what Sowore has said? Has President Tinubu come out to say that he is displeased by what Sowore has said? The answer is no. President Tinubu, on record, as I'm speaking to you at this moment, has not complained. In this country, we don't only rig elections, sometimes we try to rig history.
Yeah,
in 2013,
that's besides the point. The point is that
I'm addressing the point.
By you saying that it's right for anybody to call the president,
I'm saying that is his opinion.
Under the guise of free speech.
No, the president does not enjoy. The president's reputation does not have any special protection under the law. The president's reputation is also similar to my own reputation. He stands on the same pedestal as your own reputation. There is nothing special about the president as far as reputation is concerned. There is no law in Nigeria that protects the reputation of the president far and above that of other Nigerians. But let me even go to the point. In 2013, Bola Tinubu referred to Jonathan as running a robbery government. In 2015, the same Bola Tinubu accused Jonathan of stealing money from subsidy. So this is a president who has also used similar language in the past. Why are we engaging in this pedestrian conversation? Yes, the language, may not be acceptable to some people. But that is what Sowore has said. And the law is clear. Defamation is a personal matter. If Bola Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, is aggrieved, he has not even said he's aggrieved.
Okay, so why did DSS reach out there?
What is their business? It's busybody. It's busybody. It is not DSS. The language, the law today, the National Security Agency Act, the agency established by law is State Security Service, abbreviated as SSS. This name, DSS, or Department of State Services, is unknown to law. Under the National Security Agencies Act, the statutory mandate of the SSS is circumscribed to gathering intelligence for the internal security of Nigeria. The SSS has no business dabbling into who is insulting the president. Let me ask you the question. If he had called his governor a criminal, his local government a criminal, his councillor a criminal, will it make a difference? If you look at the laws that the SSS cited, it's a national embarrassment. They made reference to Section 51 of the Criminal Code Act, which provides for the offense of sedition, or used to provide for the offense of sedition. How can the SSS not know that sedition is no longer part of our law in Nigeria? That far back as 1985, the Court of Appeal in the case of Otowankwo and State had declared the offense of sedition unconstitutional and had expunged it from our law. They even cited Section 24 of the Cyber Crimes Act. Does the SSS not know that by virtue of the amendments signed by the same President Tinubu a few months ago, you can no longer arrest a Nigerian for insulting anybody on the basis of the Cyber Crimes Act? What the current Cyber Crimes Act has amended limits, as far as Section 24 is concerned, is if you post a content that is pornographic or that threatens the life of a person. Does calling someone a criminal threaten somebody's life? Do you know the thousands of Americans that are calling Trump a criminal on a daily basis? We are living in the 21st century where the president of France was slapped. Somebody assaulted the president of France, Emmanuel Macron. We saw it live. If it was Nigeria, they would have taken the president to a firing squad and killed him. What we are seeing is evidence of dictatorship. The SSS should be busy looking for kidnappers who are kidnapping Nigerians. They are supposed to be building in Sambisa forest, looking for Boko Haram that is killing members of our armed forces. But what are they doing? Year after year, regime after regime, they offer themselves as instrument of repression. Don't forget that this same Sowore was also charged for insulting Buhari. I was part of the defense. What came out of the sham trial? What came out of the fraudulent charges that they brought? At the end of the day, they abandoned it because it was never going to stand. So whether you agree with Sowore's language or not, what Nigerians must say in unanimity, we must never agree to live in a country where the institutions of state are deployed for personal aggrandizement. And let me conclude by saying on this point, that the man Omoyele Sowore, in a country that has a sense of justice is supposed to be celebrated. I listened to the guest on the studio while I sat out saying that Sowore is pursuing a personal agenda. What is a personal agenda? What is the personal agenda? Here is a man whose rights have been trampled upon. Here is a man that had the permanent residence in the US, has abandoned that privilege to come to Nigeria to fight for a better country. We are trying to stigmatize a man that is fighting for the progress of the country while we are canonizing those who are stealing from the country. This is not how to develop. If Tinubu is aggrieved by what Sowore has said, he has litany of lawyers. He has senior advocates at his beck and call. He can brief one of them to file a suit in court so that he can put his reputation on trial, so that he can put his character to test. But to simply say that you are going to use the SSS that doesn't even have the jurisdiction to arrest Sowore, meanwhile they have seized his passport as I'm speaking to you, the same SSS that the court ordered that they should return his phones, return his properties, in defiance of the order of the court, they are still holding on to those things. It is either we agree to live in a country governed by the rule of law, or we become a lawless country, and that is the language that they are speaking to us, that they cannot abide by the law. Freedom of expression is guaranteed. And I keep reminding Nigerians that if freedom of expression is only applicable if you say what is pleasant, then that right is useless.
All this, I no go grab, knock my door. Where is it getting us? If you ask me, I even think that you guys are even distracting us. The question is that what has Sowore really achieved? You get me now? Using this strategy.
The comments, I think the very last comment by the last speaker, I tried to understand where he was going, but again, he fails to realize that the reason why society has advanced is because of people who say no. So the last speaker,
Edgar.
That's the last, Edgar, sorry, yes. That the reason why society has advanced to where it is today is because of people who have said no. It's because of people who have had the temerity, to go against, the dictates of the system. People who, whether it's in science, whether it's in technology, whether it's in politics, people have had the guts and the courage to say no to the status quo and to challenge the status quo. And that's why everybody now is benefiting from some of those things. Perhaps Nigeria would have been in a worse place today if not for the people who are saying, these people he refers to, I no go agree. Where is Nigeria's democracy today? Where, the politicians that are now, holding forth in this country today? Is it not because of, radical, civil society organizations like the Campaign for Democracy, the Civil Liberties Organization, and all those people that led the frontier, for the advancement of democracy in this country? So I think it is unjustifiable, and I think it's a hit below the belt for him to come out and say they are not going to agree. People are the ones creating a crisis or problems in the country. Nigeria will not be where it is today. In fact, the mistake that civil society made at that particular point in time, when they led the fight against military dictatorship, was that they decided that, look, this is not, and that was a fundamental mistake that they made, that this is not our thing. We have done our part, we have pushed the military out. Let us leave it to the politicians who know how to play the politics so that they can hopefully get to power and make the country better. They got in there and locked the door and locked them out. So I think it's uncharitable to hear that kind of statement from him. A lot of people have made sacrifices in this country on the streets to make this country better. And if there are certain gains that the people have had, it is because of these civil society organizations, especially the credible ones. So it is very wrong for him to make that kind of statement.